this is Matthew Alessandrini coming back to you with our next screencast on how to use the CPS. On this screencast, what I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do is I'm going to show you how to actually administer a teacher-directed test. Now, if you've been following on my other screencasts, you would know that my last screencast, what we did is we created a teacher-led test. Today we're going to go ahead and administer it. So, the first thing you're going to go ahead and give your attention to is up here. Notice our tabs up here. We have our prepare, our engage, and our report. What I want you to go to is go to the engage. Go to the engage tab and go ahead and click on that until it brings that up. Now you're going to notice it'll have your lessons and assessments, your team activities, and attendance. Just for today, we're going to go to lessons and assessments. You should notice you have your, again, My Ohio Able, but you should say CPS. You click on that, and you're going to notice all your folders come up. Remember, we created the German and the Spanish folders. Well, those don't really have very many tests in them. I'm going to go ahead and show you one that does. So I'm going to click on My Math folder. This will come up. I'll click on another folder for Saxon, and we'll go ahead and do test 14. This is the newest test that I created with my class. So I click on that. So I got to make sure that I click on that, and then I also want to make sure that this little box right there, there's a little bit of a check mark right inside. Again, you have to make sure you're in the Engage tab. If you go to the Prepare tab, you're not going to see the little boxes for the check mark. So you click on the Engage, then you're going to notice it'll have the test title to make sure that's what you're doing. It'll say class participation. You want to make sure it's class participation because everyone's going to be using the clickers. There are a couple other different situations you can use, but I want you to use class participation. Again, you have exam, homework, classes, quiz, review, pretest. We're using participation. Finally, it says homeroom. Okay, it says homeroom. Okay. Now, let's just say this wasn't your homeroom. This means basically what class you're going to be using. If I click on that, I have my homeroom. I have a class called NFL. I have my Math 3A, my Math 3B, and you notice, remember, we created 3C. I'm going to use my homeroom class. This is basically what the class we created earlier. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to and click on the button that says Engage. I'm going to click on that. Then what happens is that your screen should minimize, at least your CPS screen should minimize. Mine comes up to Screencast-O-Matic because this is what I had otherwise besides my CPS up here. Give it a few seconds. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than others, especially if the computer is running really slow. While I'm doing the screencast, it's causing the computer to run a little bit slow, so we're just going to have to be a little bit patient. So I'll come back when we're ready to go. Okay, everybody, we're back. Now, you notice something different. You notice that there is this nice little bar on the bottom of our screen. Okay, this is basically our control center for using our test. You'll notice it says questions, next, number 1, verbal, chalkboard, options, class, exit CPS, and close. We're going to focus on, for administering, again, the teacher-led direction. I want to go ahead and click on this green arrow. It says next, number 1. I'll click on that, and then, surprise, surprise, gotta wait for a second. There we go. You're going to notice a big box like this comes up. A screen comes up like this. This is what the students, you're going to want to have the students seeing when you're giving them giving them the test. Okay, so again, you want to make sure your projector screen is on, and this is what they're going to see. Here's the question. This is the question I actually created. Here are all the different answers. Now, the kids can't put in their answers yet until you do a few things. The first thing you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that the black little strip, the little black kind of little rectangular box that was inside where all the clickers are at, you want to make sure that that's plugged in to your USB drive. So make sure, if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do that. Then what's going to happen is once you do that, you also want to make sure you click on the word Start. Again, give it a few seconds. Again, just computer's running a little bit slow just because there's so much going on right now. Alright, once you click Start, you're going to notice a whole bunch of things. First off, you're going to notice all of these numbers down there with a light blue background and a dark black number. These are the different clickers that are available. Again, I told you that ours are 33 through 58 down at my wing. I'm going to be using clicker number 33. Now, I'll go ahead and show you what happens when they put that in just a few minutes, but let me explain a few things that are on here. We have already started the questioning. The question is going to be open for them to answer until you click on the end button. Okay, we're not going to do that yet. Notice here is a timer. If you click on the arrow right here, it starts a timer. Once that goes down to 0, it'll automatically end the session and then go ahead and show what people put in. If I want to give the kids more time, I can go ahead and click on the plus button. It'll give them 10-second increments. If I want to give them less time, just click the minus. Again, it gives them 10 minutes increments. Or if I want to give them a lot of time, I can go ahead and just click the pause button, and they have as much time as they need. Okay? We're not going to worry too much about the grid and the show and hide who's voted. In fact, I click on that. It'll show who's voted, shows who hasn't. Again, I'll show you what happens when we go ahead and actually vote. This says zoom. If I zoom in, I can actually zoom the questions in if they can't see it, or if I accidentally go a little bit too far. Watch what happens if I get a little bit too carried away. That's a little bit too carried away, so if I want to, I can go ahead and click zoom out, and it'll zoom out. Okay? Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is watch what happens when I go ahead and send an answer. I think it's going to be letter, let's see, Mr. Hicks has 10 toys, so I'm going to think it's going to be letter C. So I'm going to click on C. You're going to notice I just sent the answer C, and you're going to notice that this blue changed to a darker blue, and the black turned into a white. And watch what happens when I say show or hide. It says who did it, we don't know who did it. So this is a good way of showing who's done it and who hasn't done it. I'm going to click that back on there. Now watch what happens when I end it. Again, I'm the only one using it. Click on end, it says writing session data. Give it a few seconds. Again, your computer won't run this slow. It's just there's a lot going on right now, especially with the screencast. Alright, you're going to notice right now that it showed how many people put in for letter A, 0, how many people put in for letter B, 0, and finally for letter C, 1, and you'll notice the green check mark says, hey, I got it correct. It shows right here the cumulative correct, meaning how many have we gotten all together in all of our questions, and the question, how many people got the question correct. Okay, again, if I want to zoom out a little bit, I can do that. And there we go. So now if I want to actually display a few things, if I want to go ahead and just display this using a bar graph, I click that graph right down there. What will happen is, again, give it a few seconds. Here we go, it's starting. This actually gives you a graphic representation. And again, you have different graphs you can choose. You can choose a sideways bar graph. You can choose a circle graph. You can choose a whole bunch of different types of different things right there, okay? So, I'm going to X out of that. Alright. Then, let's just say you have another question. Next thing you want to do is you see that green arrow. You're ready to go on to the next question. You can go ahead and click that arrow. And you're on to the next question. It's the same thing over and over again. When you are finally finished, let's just say, when you are finally finished, you want to go ahead and click on the X button. That'll exit out completely, and you want to click on the close. It says, have you chosen in session? Is this what you want to do? Yes, this is what I want to do. Click on that. And it comes back to your main start screen. So you've just administered a test. On our next session, I'll go ahead and show you how to go ahead and view a report. So again, that was the basic information about how to do a teacher-led test. As you can see, there are plenty of more buttons and everything. I will go ahead and talk about those other buttons on later screencasts, but this should give you a basic idea how to do it. My suggestion is, if you really want to go ahead and get the full use out of this, is go ahead and just try experimenting around a little bit, play around with it and see what happens. Until next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.